Hey guys, Tyler, and today we're going to take a look at this Pro'sKit's 915 helping hands, which is meant for mainly for soldering purposes. So let's just start. First things first, you'll probably notice why do I have electrical tape on the ends of it right here. Only reason I have that is just because I want to minimize the amount of scratching that would happen, just because normally I would use Xbox One controller motherboards, and I would, clip them right here. But the thing is, I didn't want to risk, say, if I like moved it on accident, or if I hit it over, or just any of that. I wouldn't want to. I wanted to minimize any kind of scratching or worst case scenario, possibly knocking off any connections that I may have made or any loose connections, any of that sort. So that's the reason why I put duct tape on both ends. So you can see right here that there's duct tape on all of them. And I feel like that just gave it a little bit more cushion to minimize any of that scratching. But as for the actual stand itself, it is pretty high quality. It definitely is heavy. I mean, it makes sense if you're going to be holding any kind of boards or whatever you may be for your case scenario. You're going to need some weight to it. So this little black base is definitely a little bit heavier. But for the actual stand, it's pretty high quality. Obviously, you can move it around. So let's say, for example, if you want it exactly like this, if it's perfect right where it is, then you would just twist this and tighten it, and it wouldn't move as much. But if you want to move around a little bit more, so say for example, this can move around definitely a lot, you can just tighten this up, and then it's a lot harder to move, just like that. And that's the same thing with a lot of things, but tighten it if you want it to stay, loosen it if you want to move it around a little bit more. But yeah, there is lots of moving joint parts, so we can move here. So that's at the base. We can move right here. We can move that all which ways. We can move here. We can move here. And we can also move, wait, where is it? No, we cannot. Okay, so yeah, here, here, and here. So there's 4 different joint points, basically, or joint, whatever you want to call them. And yeah, so normally, let's say, for example, what do I have let's use this little Arduino board I have just laying around. So for example, say if I wanted to mess around with this. So there's solder points on the back. So I would go ahead and probably connect it maybe connect it one part right here. Bend it a little bit, and then I gotta move this a little bit more. So let's do one port right there, and the other one would connect right there. So as you can see, it's right there. So obviously the board's not going to move around as much. So if I'm soldering, obviously if you hit it, it's going to move a little bit. But you can also stop that from moving around by just tightening all these joints. The more you tighten them, then the sturdier it's going to be, basically. So if I'm soldering right now, I have, just one of my, so if I'm using like one of my soldering tips or iron, and I'm going at it, it's definitely not going to be moving if I'm going like here, it's not going to be moving around whatsoever. The only reason to move it right there is just because it's towards the top. You can easily just put a hand on it too, to just keep it more sturdy, even if you feel like it's not as sturdy as you'd want. I mean, for the price you pay, you can only expect so much, but it definitely is a helping hand. That's what it's made for, and that's exactly what it does. So in this case, you could easily go like this, hold it in place for a bit more sturdiness, but you can, like I said, you can even do it without using it. So if I'm only using one hand, easy. I can't get the angle right. Easy, and then just, whatever your needs may be, when you're all done, unclip it, and your board's all soldered, or whatever it may be, or soldered or desoldered.